Now that we have encountered the concept of Redux, we have also tried state management using Redux in a simple Dart app. By the way, it seems that there are far more cases of using Redux in Flutter app than using Redux in Dart app. The Flutter Redux package is required to use the Redux feature we saw earlier in a Flutter app. The Flutter Redux package is a collection of utilities that allow you to use Redux in Flutter. It has a function similar to React Redux over React package. There are two features that any state management solution should provide at a minimum. One is dependency injection, and the other is a function that listens for state changes and reveals the UI when there is a change. Dependency injection is a function that makes it easy to access desired data on the widget tree. If there is no function that makes the dependency injection easy, as shown in the figure, the necessary data on the widget tree should be passed as an argument of the widget. However, if you do this, widgets that do not need the data must also receive the data for the purpose of delivery and pass it to the child widget. Also, when the structure of the widget tree is changed, it is a structure that is very prone to errors. What data do we need to inject dependency on in a Flutter app using Redux? That's the store. As mentioned earlier, the store is a central store of the app state, so you only need to inject the store into the widget tree. On the other hand, in the case of provider and Flutter block, each state had to be injected into the widget tree. The widget that injects the store into the widget tree is the store provider widget. In order to be able to use the store injected by store provider in the entire widget tree, material M must be wrapped in store provider. In this way, the dependency injection part related to Redux has been resolved. Then we need a tool to access the store made accessible in the widget tree by the store provider widget. In the Flutter Redux package, there are three ways to access this store on the widget tree: using StoreBuilder, using Store Connector, and using the static method of Store Provider. The first way is to access the store using the StoreBuilder widget. StoreBuilder is not recommended for use except for very simple apps that do not require performance optimization. This is because the widget reveals whenever the store changes. Let's look at an example of using StoreBuilder while creating a simple app. I created a StoreBuilder EX app and installed the Redux and Flutter Redux package. Also, the avoid print line in the analysis options.yaml file is uncommented. Next, I copied the state, action, and reducer of the counter.redux app. I also declared the late final variable store of counter state type. In the main function, I assigned the store instance to the store variable and provided a counter reducer for reducer argument and factory constructor counter state.initial for named argument initial state. Next, I made my homepage widget a stateless widget, made a text widget that displays 0 with the font size 64 in the center of the screen, and created two floating action buttons. Currently, the onPress callback of floating action buttons is an empty function. Next, we'll inject the store into the widget tree so that it can be used in the entire widget tree. Wrap material app in a store provider of counter state type. Store is provided as the value of the store argument. Let's wrap our scaffold in a store builder of counter state type. Because we wrap the scaffold widget with the store builder, inside the scaffold widget, we can now access the store injected by the store provider. StoreBuilder has multiple arguments, but one required argument is the builder callback. The rest of the argument will be dealt with when describing the store connector widget. The builder callback receives builder context and store as an argument and returns a scaffold widget. StoreBuilder's builder callback reveals whenever the state of the store changes. Counter will be displayed in the title of the text widget, and the counter value can be obtained from store.state.counter. In onPress callback or floating action button, increment action is dispatched using the dispatch function of the store. I will give 1 as payload. Similarly, we dispatch a decrement action in the unpressed callback of the minus button. Let's run the simulator and test it. Counter app works normally. However, StoreBuilder reveals the widget whenever the state of the store changes. So if there are multiple states, the widget reveals even if the state it does not care for changes. Let's look at the description of StoreBuilder again. The red text is from the documentation. It is said that it is considered best practice to create a view model needed for a specific widget and use a store connector. View model is an object that has data and methods needed to build UI. And it is said that StoreBuilder is provided for convenience in case of very simple use cases. That is, there is no need to create anything like a view model. So unless it is a very simple app, I will not use it as much as possible in the future.